everyone. My name is Jo Madams. I'm the Emergency Planning Manager for West Northants Council, but also founder of 30 Days, 30 Ways UK here in the UK. Thanks for joining us. Sorry for the delay in starting this. We had a few technical issues, but we're here now, and thank you for joining us online. For people that are online, if you want to ask any questions as we go through, please put in the chat, and then we can ask the panelists the questions. I will be putting links to some useful information off the website as we go along as well. So get a bit of a background on 30 Days, 30 Ways UK. So it's a national campaign. It runs every September. September is Preparedness Month, giving us 30 simple, practical ways to get better prepared for emergencies. From floods to power cuts, each day brings us a new tip or challenge or activity that helps us boost our own resilience in a light-hearted and engaging way. It's all about making preparedness easy, positive, and even a little bit fun, because being ready for the unexpected doesn't have to be boring. So hopefully, as the month progresses, you'll see what tips and challenges we have for you. So these podcast panels are here to share practical insights from the experts who help keep our communities safe. This will be broadcast each week, which will give a bit of a roundup of what's happening in the week for people that can't play each day, to keep people up to date. So let's meet today's panel members. So firstly, joined by Hazel Reeve, and I've known Hazel for a long time now. Hazel, you're Met Office Advisor in the Civil Contingencies team. Welcome, Hazel.
Thank you.
And then
Hi,
we're joined.
everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Hazel. And then we're joined by Rachel McMahon. So Rachel works in the flood resilience team, who goes out to communities to talk more about flooding with them for the Environment Agency. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, not a problem.
And we're also joined by Darren Carson. Darren works in the prevention team for Northamptonshire Fire and Rescue, and your sort of specialism is all about flood awareness. Welcome, Darren. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Morning, everyone.
So in an emergency, the right information at the right time can be life-saving. So this week, we've been talking about how to stay connected to trusted sources and how a little preparation now can keep you calmer and more confident when things get tough. So for the first, we want to talk a bit about why being informed matters. So in a crisis, misinformation spreads faster than facts. And I think we've all know cases where this has been, this happened on Facebook, where something gets put out there and it spreads like wildfire, and it can cause real harm. So having the right contacts, alerts and safety knowledge means that you know that it's true and what to do. And this is all what the panelists are here for today to tell you about. So we've got 5 simple daily challenges this week to boost your information readiness. So Monday, we looked at following trusted sources. So to choose reliable accounts to follow on social media. So one of these would be your local council, NHS, police, fire, obviously the Met Office, the Environment Agency. So all the people there, they would be able to share factual information when incidents or alerts happen. So they're the ones to follow. The Tuesday, we then looked at saving emergency numbers. So whether you ring 999 or 101 to make the right call, ring in 111 to get health advice instead of going into A&Es as such. And then Wednesday, we talked about why mental health matters. So we had a mental health awareness day. And we all know emergencies can be stressful, so taking care of your well-being is part of being prepared. Doing something happy. I know for myself, de-stressing. There's lots of links that you can we put out on that day that you can actually do a sort of a quiz to see what you know where your mental health is. I know for me it's reading a good book or painting. What the panelists can ask, what do you do when, because we've all got stressful jobs, what do you do when you go home?
I
Rachel,
tend to do quite a bit of reading actually as well, or relax in the bath. That's always quite a good one. Bubble bath and a good book.
Yeah. Yeah. Darren, put you on the spot.
For me, it's usually walking. I find walking quite in the country is quite a calming influence if you've had a sort of really stressful day or a stressful week. So yeah, a nice walk. You always feel better after that.
Yeah, exercise is a good one, isn't it, to try and relieve stress. Hazel. Oh, you're on mute.
I would say that's for the better. Yes, I'm like you, Darren. I like to go out for a walk. Sometimes it's really difficult to actually get up and go out if you've been sat at a computer all day, but certainly feel much better for it. And listening to music as well, that sometimes helps. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's if the weather's on our side, which we'll learn about in a minute from you. Okay, that's brilliant. And if people wanted to look back on the week, you know there's lots of organisations. It's been really sort of heartwarming to see. There's so much out there on social media about what best practice and what people can be doing and taking part in. And one of those is volunteering. And of course, we'll hear at the end of the month. We'll hear more about volunteering. Okie dokie. So that was Wednesday, and on Thursday, we had sort of a Water Awareness Day, and the RNLI's Float to Live video. We shared that quite a lot. So if you can do 2 minutes, spare 2 minutes today, watch the RNLI Float to Live video, because it could actually save someone's life. Now, I now want to pass over to Darren, who will talk a little bit more about what your expertise in water awareness.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, it's really important. I mean, in Northamptonshire, obviously, we're a landlocked county. However, we do, and as Rachel will know, we have a lot of water in the county as well. I think we have roughly about 1,300 kilometres of rivers and waterways. We've got the Nen, we've got the Welland, and I think we've got something like 40 plus reservoirs, plus a number of bodies of water sort of here, there, and everywhere, if you like. So our message for people is just take care if you're near water, especially if you're near water with your kids and things like that. Is a lot of people who end up in the water don't intend to. So that can be for a number of reasons. One of them could be as simple as just too near the edge and fall in, which is a risk as well. So the hashtag from RNLI, respect the water, really is a good one. And it's as simple as that, respect the water. It's about being alert when you're near the water, watching your children and looking at the signage. There'll be a lot of signage near water as well. Is follow what the signage says as well, because if there are dangers near the water bank that you're at, the signage will tell you that as well. So yes, spend time with the Float to Live video. It's really, really good. Another thing that we recommend as well is an app called What 3 Words that you can download to your phone for nothing. So if you are somewhere and just not a water emergency, but if you are out, we've just been talking about walking in the country. If you did come across an emergency, it's thinking about how would you give your position to emergency services, because sometimes I know I've been out walking and you can in the country you kind of lose yourself, don't you, where you are. But give it What 3 Words is a free app for Android and Apple, and that can give you your precise location. But yeah, I would summarize is respect the water, be alert and be careful when you're near the water's edge, and then spend a bit of time looking at the RNLI website or even our website, Northamptonshire Fire, for some more water safety tips on there.
Yeah, and I think they'll also be on other fire services around the UK as well, won't they? They'll all be sharing best practice around water safety.
Absolutely, yeah. Most of the fire and rescue service websites will have a section on water safety. RNLI will, the RLSS will as well. So yeah, just spend a bit of time on having a look there for some water safety tips.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Darren. And I know the what 3 words turned up in our podcast last week, because I think that's really important. You know, if you're caught up in an emergency anywhere, whether it's near water, in you know, anywhere, and the emergency services all use what 3 words now, so you'd be able to really get down to pinpoint where you are. That's brilliant. Thank you, Darren. And then today we're all about flooding. So, you know, if you live or travel in areas that are prone to flooding, we can register for free alerts. But I'm not going to speak about that because Rachel's here from the Environment Agency. You'll be able to tell us all about signing up for flood alerts.
Yeah, morning everybody. So we have a flood warning service, and that helps to give people notice of flooding that's expected from the sea, obviously not really so relevant here, but also the main rivers. So it's not all of the rivers, it's the ones that are designated main rivers. So the bigger ones like the Nene in this area, for example. So our flood warning service, I just think it might be helpful to explain the difference between the codes. So they're issued in escalation to people. For the rivers, we aim to give people 2 hours notice of when flooding might start to affect property. But the first warning code before that is called a flood alert. So they're quite big and they can be issued like 2 to 3 days in advance of any flooding. And it's mainly for any flooding that we expect to be on like low-lying land and roads. So say if you travel around a lot for work, you know, because sometimes it's really helpful to sign up for those as well. The next stage that goes up in escalation, which is when property would start to be affected in a particular area, that's called a flood warning. So say we aim to give a couple of hours notice for that beforehand. And at that stage, we want people to sort of turn off their gas, water and electricity, sort of move things upstairs out of the way, or to higher shelves if you live in a bungalow. So that's the flood warning stage. And the last stage, which is the severe flood warnings, they're issued only really very rarely, and usually in conjunction with our emergency services colleagues as well. That's where it's the extreme threat to life. And at that point, we'd want people just to listen to what they've been told by the emergency services, call 999 if they are in danger, so that they can prioritise the resources accordingly. So that's the 3 flood warning codes that we've got. It's all part of the same flood warning service. I'll spend a bit of time, if that's okay, just talking about the improvements to that service that are due to go live in the autumn. It's getting a bit of a name change. Why not? It's going to be changed to Get Flood Warnings. So that's the new name for the service. So and people will be able to manage their accounts more directly online, which is great. They'll be able to choose lots more locations and addresses to put on their account, which is really helpful if you've got like relatives or friends that you might want to look out for. You can sign up for their address location or the town or whatever as well. And also, you know, if you're going on holiday or something, you know, you can sign up for any alerts or warnings that might come out in that area. I'm popping off to Cumbria in a few weeks, so maybe I'll do it myself just to make sure. I know they get a lot of flooding up there. So you can register up to 15 locations then, which is really, really helpful. And you can register up to like 15 different ways to get the messages as well, which is good if you've got like family in the household. You can make sure everybody's mobile phone's on there, different email addresses and phone numbers. So that's really, really helpful. And the maps that you'll be able to see online are a lot better. So they're more detailed and it's a lot clearer which map's the flood alert, which will be the orange ones, and then there's red for flood warnings. And so they're going to be better. Another great thing, if you're like me and you're really rubbish at remembering passwords and you've got them all maybe on your phone when you shouldn't have, what you'll get each time when you log onto your account using your email address is that you'll get like a passcode, a 6-digit passcode. I've started to experience that, and you all may have as well. You know, if you're making purchases online, that kind of thing, they'll want to send you, your bank might want to send you a passcode. It's a similar thing. So it's just a simpler process and you can just get in each time for that. It just makes it that bit more secure for people. The other thing I would want to just say is it's not just an online service. You can still do it by telephone as well, by ringing our floodline service. So that's the 0345 number, the 988 1188. So that's really important for people. And the other thing about the Get Flood Warning service is it's a lot more accessible. It meets the accessibility guidelines now. So if people have got if they've got like impaired vision or things like learning difficulties or cognitive impairments. It meets all of those accessibility deadlines, the guidelines for that now, which I think is a really good thing. So that's one thing I just wanted to mention to people. But if you did want to just sign up for flood warning still, if you just did that in a search in the Google search bar at the top, it'll take you through. In terms of the best area of the website to look at if we think there's any flooding coming up, if you just sort of search under check flooding, if you were to type that in the search bar, then it brings up the latest information for flooding for your area, which you can narrow down to, which is most helpful as well. Other things that we want people to think about. So when that first flood alert goes out, and even beforehand, and I know Jo will agree with me on that, sort of have a think about an emergency bag. You know, if you had to leave your home for any reason, it doesn't have to be flooding, you know, sort of a grab and go approach to it. What would you want to take with you and put in your bag? So that might be things like medication that you've got. Since we had COVID, we also encourage people to take a copy of their prescription as well, because if they might be out of their home, you know, potentially for months after a flood, and you're on regular medication, it can sometimes be really easy to have your NHS number to hand as well. So that's a helpful thing. Mobile phone chargers, that kind of thing, clothing, water, just maybe, you know, maybe not literally, but you could literally, you know, keep it near the back door, you know, in the porch, or, you know, in drawers that you've got near your back door that's somewhere safe. So yeah, they're the kind of main things I'd recommend. And people can also always monitor their local river levels online as well. That'll give you an indication of what the highest level's been in the past, you know, what's the record level for that river and what's it doing now? How is it behaving itself? Is it sort of within its normal range, or is it starting to increase? And it tells you whether that is like something that's a trend that's increasing, or is it decreasing. But you can just sort of get a better, you know, get to know your local river. What's the normal thing? You know, you look out of the window and you might see one thing, but in reality, that might be something that's quite a normal thing for that river to be doing. So it's always a good idea to have a bit of an overview of what your local river is getting up to. So there'd be my main tips and main advice, but hopefully that'll be some use to people.
Yeah. Lovely, thank you, Rachel. And it's next Friday. We've got a grab bag day, so we'll be discussing what we should have in a grab bag. So that'll be good. And then the couple of days after that, we've got like the household emergency plan and building on that. And I know quite a few counties around the UK. They do have flood wardens as well, don't they? So
yeah, there's all types of volunteers, to be fair. Some places have flood wardens still, others are moving more towards emergency volunteers, so that they are more prepared for any type of emergency, which kind of makes sense. But then some people and some places, you know, like if you want to specialise in being a flood warden rather than an all emergencies kind of person, then, and they're often created generally through parish or town councils, from my experience anyway, but sometimes community groups form their own flood action groups. So that can be a helpful way forward as well in some places. It's whatever works for communities, really.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Rachel. Cool. And don't forget, if you've got any questions, please put them in the question answer box, and I'll pick them up and ask as we go along. Thank you. So that's today. That's all about flooding. So the special thing about today is we're getting a bit of a teaser for the weekend. So Saturday is all about first aid. So it is first aid day tomorrow. We sort of tried to sort of fit it in with the other campaigns that are going on. And of course, knowing a first aid skill can save a life before the emergency services arrive. So, you know, explore courses, you know, if you can get a first aid course through work, I really think they're quite good doing something like that. I know any of you, the panelists, first aiders, I'm sure Darren is.
Yeah, it's always a handy skill to know. I mean, especially for members of the community, as you say, through the workplace. But if you can't, we've found in our county that our community first responders, which are up and down the country, do a lot of community outreach work and kind of advertise first aid courses. So they're always a really good group to get in touch with. You know, if you've got a community group or you're just a member of the public wants to learn some more skills. And there are also some good online resources as well. But I think personally for me, it's the kind of hands-on training is probably the best way to do it with first aid.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So yeah, so tomorrow's all about first aid and learning that skill and picking that up. And then Sunday is all about severe weather. The Met Office have got a fantastic website about community resilience and alerts and everything like that. But I'm going to hand over to Hazel Reed from the Met Office to actually talk all about the Met Office side of stuff and severe weather. And are we having severe weather this weekend, Hazel?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, our weather is turning now. We're into autumn and things are beginning to change as we head towards the winter. We've got an area of low pressure out in the Atlantic Ocean at the moment, and as it's moving nearer to the UK, it's what we say is deepening, the pressure is lowering, and as a result, we're going to have some windy weather. So we look at forecasts for quite a long way ahead, but as we get nearer to the time of some severe weather occurring, then we have lots of different computer models that generate lots of different ideas of how the weather is going to be. And certainly over the weekend, we are expecting this low pressure to produce some windy weather as it gets nearer to the UK. So as a result of that, all the computer models are coming up with ideas of how strong they think the wind is going to be. We have forecasters at our headquarters at Exeter who look 24 hours a day at how the weather is developing. And then they will produce forecasts combined with what computers are saying and what is actually going to happen in real life. So on Sunday, we are expecting some strong winds to begin to develop as they move as low pressure edges towards the UK. So during Sunday and on Monday as well, throughout Monday, we are expecting some strong winds where we could see it'll be a gusty wind as well. So we could see gusts in the region of 45 to 55 miles an hour, but anywhere exposed to the wind, so if you're on high ground or maybe even funneling down a valley, if you're planning to go to the coast, and maybe not given the weather forecast, but even along the promenades there, the sea could be quite rough as well, so spray coming onto the promenades. So we are expecting some really gusty winds, and given the time of year, the end of summer, there's a lot of outdoor furniture still around. We've had a very dry summer, so some branches will be potentially falling off trees or even trees themselves blowing over, depending how they've managed to get through the very dry, hot summer we've just had. So it's all those things to take into consideration. People may still have summer furniture out in the garden, which is light enough to be lifted and carried a distance on the wind. So get somebody out on a road, may not expect something to come flying past them. That could be something that does occur. That wind is going to be strong enough to do that. And also there's lots of dust around as well, given the dry weather we have had. So that will be unpleasant. And even even where there isn't high ground or it's not by the coast, the wind can funnel around buildings. So that can also catch people by surprise if they're suddenly going round a corner and suddenly get that really strong wind. And also children, they're nearer the ground and nearer to the dust and lighter objects that can be blown up as well. So it's all that sort of thing to consider. So that's what we're having happening on Sunday and during Monday. And as a result of that, we've got a strong wind warning out. We only issue warnings, weather warnings, if it's likely to affect people as they go around their daily life. What does that mean to you? What can I do to prepare for that? Well, certainly if there's a strong wind around, as I've already said, you'd be looking at putting loose objects away. And also walking around, how strong is that going to be? Have you got a child with you? There will be some blustery showers carried along on the wind, so an umbrella probably won't be much use because that's just going to blow inside out, or even you might even let go of it and it might end up somewhere completely different. So things like that are worth considering. What do I need to wear? That wind is going to become quite cold as well. Initially, it'll start from the southwest, so blowing from warmer areas. But as we go through Monday and into Tuesday, then that wind is going to turn to come from a northerly direction, so coming right down from the Arctic at times. So it's going to feel really cold. And we've had a hot summer, so it'll be quite a contrast. So it's worth thinking about what do we need to wear and how do we prepare for this change in the temperature. So we have weather warnings for heavy rain, snow, wind. We've already mentioned ice, and all the weather that is likely to cause you some problems, perhaps, or to prepare for what you may meet when you go outside. And some people, just going back to the wind, particularly more elderly people who live on their own, can be very frightened by the wind. So that's also worth considering. Is there somebody near you that's maybe not feeling quite comfortable with that windy weather outside? So again, although it may not affect you, just bear in mind what that might mean for somebody else, and if you can help them overcome that fear, or just be in touch with them. Given this strong wind, there may be some intermittent power cuts at times. The warnings are graded, so yellow, amber or red, and this is a yellow warning, but it does come with what we say medium impacts. So worth thinking again, what does that mean for you? These warnings are available online. They're mentioned on the television and on the radio. So there's lots of different ways you can hear about these warnings. But even though it's a yellow warning, it is a warning, so worth bearing in mind and just taking heed of what that warning is saying. There's a lot of information in there about what you can do given the circumstances of the weather. So that warning is valid on Sunday and Monday. So if you come across that, then please do read it and just bear in mind that windy weather could be affecting you, but there are things you can do to help yourself. Even though we can't do anything about the wind, we can do things to help ourselves.
Thank you, Hazel. I'm so glad you've arranged for some really bad weather on the severe weather day. I'll put links with this podcast to the Met Office and the EA and the RNI, so all the links will be there, so people can actually listen and then go into and explore a bit more. Thank you for that. I know, I know we keep an eye on obviously the flood warnings and the weather warnings here to see what we're going to get. So that's a wrap for Sunday, and then we go into the next week. Just to recap, so knowing where to get accurate information from reduces anxiety, cuts through any confusion, and helps you make smart decisions fast. So knowing who to follow, knowing to sign up for all the weather warnings and the flood alerts, it just makes you a little bit better prepared. So just to call for action for everybody, make sure that you down this way, the bingo sheet. You can download the bingo sheet and cross off each day as it comes. We are on day 12, so nearly halfway through the campaign. Invite listeners to invite all of you to take the How Prepared Are You survey. So this has been running since 2015. So we've got lots of stats on this. We're running it again this year. It will run till the end of October. So please take the survey, send it, get other people to fill it in. The more that we get, the more we can see how prepared people are. And then encourage others to follow trusted sources and share these life-saving information, and just not sharing the rumours that go about. Before I end, is there anything that Darren, Rachel, and Hazel that you want to add to this week's panel?
Just to stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you.
And just to make sure you sign up to get the flood warnings if there's somewhere you live. Yeah. It doesn't take too long.
I'd agree. I think for me, you know, if I was a member of the public, you protecting your family and protecting your home are probably two of the most important things in your life. So it's always worth just spending a little bit of time to keep your family and keep your property safe.
Yeah, lovely. And that's a great link, because that's week 2 done. Get informed, and next week we're looking at the practical kit and plans you can put together with your family to make sure that you're ready for the unexpected. So we are talking more about your home and your family. So that's next week. So thank you for joining us. Thank you ever so much, Darren, Rachel and Hazel, for joining us on the panels. As usual, it's been brilliant talking to you all. And I'll see you again next week for next week's panel. Keep tuned and keep watching 30 Days, 30 Ways UK. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.